Hello everyone, I'm Paul McGuire Grimes. It seems rare when a music biopic actually lives up to its subject. Every year there's a new one added to the list, and I wish I could say that Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody stood above the others, but it fails to stand up to the legacy of Miss Houston. It's in theaters, and I want to talk about it. This is Paul's trip to the movies. Naomi Ackie has the daunting task of playing Whitney Houston throughout every stage of her career as the film portrays. She was an aspiring singer and backup vocalist for her mom, Cissy Houston, who's played by Tamara Tunie, and was the cousin of Dionne Warwick. She was spotted by Clive Davis during a nightclub set one night, and it was there when he realized that she'd become one of the greatest voices of a generation. Now, he's played by Stanley Tucci. Davis would take Houston under his wing, and from there it was superstardom. Fame came, though, with a price, as it always does, as it really fractured her relationship with her girlfriend Robin, who's played by Nafessa Williams. Saw that her wealth was mismanaged by her father, Clark Peters, and of course that relationship with Bobby Brown, who's played by Ashton Sanders. The film was written by Andrew McCartan, who also wrote Bohemian Rhapsody, and was directed by Kasi Lemmons, who brought Harriet Tubman's life to the big screen a few years ago. I Want to Dance with Somebody breaks my cardinal rule of biopics that I've mentioned time and time again. It tells too big of a story without getting specific about anything. It's that feeling that a writer was simply hired who didn't really know the subject and just merely crafted a screenplay around the Wikipedia page of their life. Andrew McCartan did just that with Bohemian Rhapsody, and he really takes the same approach here as attempts to race through Whitney Houston's tragic life with that general roller coaster ride that sees the rise to fame, the eventual downfall, and the potential comeback, as it hits those typical stopping points along the way. You know, we get that obligatory scene of her hearing her song on the radio for the first time, the drug-fueled scenes, and it goes from one song to the next, one performance to the next, and so forth. Director Kasi Lemmons seems daunted by trying to give a new lens on Houston's life, as no scene lasts long enough to really ever dig deep and sit in its emotional state. Pat Houston and Clive Davis are producers, and it begs the question how much influence that they had and wanted to just remind the audience of Whitney having a voice unlike anyone else. This feels more like a celebration of her talents than any other topic. Now, we already know that, though, so then what new angle is this movie providing? The thin material doesn't give this cast enough to dig into. Naomi Ackie does her best, as she can, as Whitney Houston. You feel that fervor and the energy of what it must have been like to be Whitney, to perform and show off that voice. And Ackie is having a great time showcasing Whitney the performer. But the more dramatic moments aren't all that rich and nuanced to allow Ackie to show off her strengths as an actress. Ashton Sanders is given nothing more to do as Bobby Brown than the headline images that we already have of him being the villain or the bad influence on her that he was. Now, it's worth noting that this movie does address Whitney Houston's bisexuality, and it seems as if that aspect of her life was never really discussed before, but we do get to breathe life into that now. And maybe it could have explored that even more with the role that sexuality then plays in a public platform. The film is bookended by a AMA, American Music Awards performance, where she sings a medley of I Love You Porgy, and I'm Telling You I'm Not Going, and I Am Nothing. It's a stunning 10-minute performance that they recreate. But why not tell that story? Or at least show the real footage? You know, I was left with a lot of whys for this movie, as there's just so much potential and story to really dig into to capture a part of Whitney Houston that we don't already know or couldn't already watch on YouTube. I'm giving Whitney Houston I Want to Dance with Somebody 2 out of 5 ticket stubs. If you like my review today, click subscribe on my YouTube channel like I said in their movie reviews, as well as my appearances on Twin Cities Live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Paul's Movie Trip. I'd love to hear from you. Do you have a favorite Whitney Houston song? I'd love to hear from you. What are some of your favorite Whitney classics? And then go to my website, paulstriptothemovies.com, for even more reviews. Thank you so much for watching my review of Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. This is Paul's Trip to the Movies.